All right, first you heard him, now you see him once again. Sean Fazende here on the final play. Listen, a 1-0 start. It seems to me, more than past years, it's very important to start that way.
No, there's no doubt about it. If you look at the first 6 games of the season, 4 of those opponents are playoff teams from the season ago, and the other team is Atlanta that has much improved. So Carolina is by far the easiest opponent that they have to start the season. So it's always good to get off to a 1-0 start, regardless of the season. But you talk about the Saints in 2024 with the gauntlet that they have to start the season. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea to start 1-0 if you're the Saints.
So 3 primetime games for the Black and Gold this season. Not as many as they usually had in the Drew Brees era, but there's still some excitement about this team.
Yeah, it's not like it's just a total, these guys are just boring, let's throw them away. I mean, 3 primetime games are still 3 primetime games. Last year they had 3 coming off a 7-10 season. This year they had 3 coming off a 9-8 season where they were very close to making the postseason. Obviously had the big storyline with Sean Payton, Thursday night game, a couple of Monday night games, including one of those Monday night games being 2 days before Christmas. Oh, pray for me because I'm not going to, I don't know if I'm going to handle that Lambeau Field, but nonetheless, it's going to be primetime. It's not like they're irrelevant. They still got a few primetime games. No, it's not the 6 or 7 that they used to have back in the day with Drew Brees and everyone. But 3 primetime games could be worse.
Not irrelevant. It could be worse because Carolina has no primetime games this season. Saints bye week falls in week number 12. It seems like a pretty good spot for them.
I like where it stands. Week 12 it's through September, October. It's the last week of November, so you've had a good chunk of your season played. There could be some injuries that have mounted up. It could be a perfect time to kind of rest and relax and just kind of refresh as you get ready for that back end of the season. If you recall back in 2022, it was like week 14, and it was too late because the injuries had piled up so much that by the time they got to the bye week to have it work to their advantage, they were already in such a deep hole that they just couldn't climb themselves out of. And remember, that year coming out of the bye, they won 3 out of the last 4 games. So I think it's very important where the bye is placed. Week 12, that's probably the latest I would like to where it still be a quote-unquote good bye. But nonetheless, I think it's a good open date. And if they play it right and hopefully they get a little fortunate when it comes to injuries, it could happen at the right time.
So let's talk about winning the division because there's an opportunity here. If you're looking for your way into the playoffs, that would be the space right there. How many games does it take to win this division?
To win the division, I think the Saints have got to go 4-2 in the division to keep themselves afloat, given the rest of their schedule, to give themselves an opportunity to make the postseason. See, unlike last year, I don't know if it's going to be the exact same where only the division winner gets in. I think a wild card winner or a wild card team could sneak in from the NFC South, with the enhanced play of Tampa Bay and Atlanta, and obviously the Saints are coming off a 9-8 season. But if the Saints fall below 4-2 in the NFC South, given the rest of the things that they have on that schedule, rest of the opponents they have on that schedule, that's going to be tough to overcome. So I think they got to go 4-2, something they did a season ago.
So let's talk about the overall record. What's realistic when it comes to the overall record this year? Help them out there.
Yeah, we went through it. If you look at our or watch our podcast, we went through it. Andre Johnson Jr. and myself. He was a little more pessimistic. I think I was pretty in the middle. If you look at every single team that they had a better record than a season ago, and they play this year, that would be 9-8. And I went through each game. I had them at 9-8, but I said either 8-9 or 9-8 is the realistic final record for the Saints in 2024.
And that's 8-9, 9-8, based on them maybe struggling in the first part of the season, but picking up the pace towards the end.
Yes.
We shall see. Sean, thank you very much.
Right.